So understanding the brain, how it responds to stress, and then how these techniques actually tap into the prefrontal cortex, which gives you that tighter control of thoughts, your emotions, and your behaviors.
Hello and welcome to Meet the Coach. I'm your host, Carla, Egan, and today we're going to be talking to an executive wellbeing coach who's based in Western Australia. Our coach today has a background in neuroscience, in counselling, and also in coaching, and she's combined all of that education into helping executives and their team with their mental fitness. It's a very warm welcome to you, Catherine Wood from Life Renewal.
Hi there. Hi, Carla.
It's great to have you today. Now, I know you are passionate about combining coaching with neuroscience, and I'd love to jump into that with you. But before we do, I'd like to know a little bit more about how you started in your coaching journey. Just want to share with us how you got into coaching.
Yeah, so how it started with me with coaching is that as a child and even into young adulthood, I kind of struggled a lot with daily stress and overwhelm. And I also was very pessimistic with my thinking. And a few years back, I had a coach, he's a friend of mine, and he talked about reshaping your thinking. And I wanted to learn more. So I asked him, what was this? And he talked about helping his clients reshape their thinking about themselves and also about the world around them. And this really was a turning point for me. And as we talked, I became quite upset and emotional about this experience that he was talking about with his clients of how they reshaped their thinking and kind of looked at their thinking patterns, which led me to really want to learn more. So I did a lot of research and learning and courses about the science behind real change and what is it that gives us that feeling of feeling stuck and feeling that things are going to stay that same way. And for me, it was about understanding what really drives the change in reducing stress, enabling me to really have a feeling that I can have a life that has challenges, but that I can actually overcome this. And this also led to learning more about resilience. And then having learned all of these things on my personal development journey, I felt, wow, this is something I really want to share. And this is something that I want to share with people who are maybe struggling in the same way as I have. And that's really what led me to want to be a coach.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. I've written down a couple of key words that you mentioned here, one being overwhelm and the other being resilience. And they're when we think back over the last couple of years, 2020, 2021, with the global pandemic, a lot of people have been in a flux of a range of emotions. And one of the most common ones that I hear about and sometimes experience myself is overwhelm and having the energy, mental and physical, to get through another period of change. And so I love that you've actually targeted your focus on this, and I know it was well before COVID hit that you've been in this arena, but it's now starting to get some airtime. And so I want to firstly congratulate you on the area that you're focusing on. There's a lot of talk in organisations and probably at the executive level, no doubt as well, Catherine, around this great resignation that everyone seems to be talking about. I think it's a great opportunity for retention, for retaining your top talent. How does that fit in with some of your clients and what their experiences are in terms of maintaining that mental fitness, but also running their businesses and keeping their top talent?
Well, to start with, really from a personal point of view, I worked in the corporate space for many, many years in various teams, and I did notice with a lot of the employees around me this high level of stress that was there, and people disengaging with their work, with their organization. And I was really observing the leaders and how they behaved around these employees that looked like they just didn't want to be there. And I know for myself that some experiences I had was that, I became disengaged with my work. And as you mentioned, the great resignation in that, that's really important to understand the employees and how they're feeling, what they can do in these times, and to really be able to, as a leader and an organization, to drive engagement, to really see how you can align that team. But that only comes from understanding where the employees are at. And certainly with my clients right now, there are a lot of people struggling with the stress and the overwhelm. And that's where I've come in and been able to really help them with the mental fitness, which is really about being able to know that you can have a choice in these difficult situations in how you respond. And this comes down to the science really behind that, in gaining a tighter control of your thoughts, your emotions, and your behaviors. And that's through these evidence-based techniques that I use in my coaching. So really helping the clients to understand how they can create habits with these techniques to drive real, sustainable, and intentional change.
I love the tighter control of your thinking and of your thoughts. And I can see the neuroscience part coming out in that.
Yes.
So what do you see, like in our, I mean, I know we're coming out of the pandemic, but in general, in the business arena, in organizations, what are some of the trends or the challenges that you see, that is coming, is emerging, and what needs to be addressed that maybe some businesses haven't got on their radar?
Yes, so with some of my clients that I've been talking to recently, they're having a real sense of overwhelm because they feel scared to actually speak up to their team leaders about how overwhelmed they're feeling. They feel that they have to keep driving on because they're going to lose their jobs. They're going to be told perhaps that, you're not the right person for this job, and be replaced perhaps. And they don't know how they can kind of overcome this situation they're in. And it's only when they come to the coaching that they feel that it's almost taking a deep breath and release of that tension. You can see it in their faces that as they explore, how they're feeling, and we talk about things that they can actually do and changes they can make, they realize that actually they don't have to stay in that particular situation. And they want to keep doing more of that, making more changes, which they didn't even realize they could do in the first place. So it's almost about an education about, yes, you don't have to stay in this place, but it's also the support from the organizations and the leaders to know that people don't have to stay in that particular situation. There are tools out there that can help these employees, such as coaching.
I think you hit the nail on the head. It's about empowering and educating and giving execs and leaders tools and frameworks in order to engage, particularly with this new generation that's coming into the workplace. There's different needs, and they have different well-being values around that as well. Now, I know that you have put a lot of your education into developing certain tools, and I know you've got a new tool that's coming out, or I think you've released it already, and I haven't heard a lot about it, so this is a wonderful platform. Can you share with us your latest tool that you've developed and recently released for your market?
Yes, so I've just released an app just on Monday this week, actually, and it's an app that's called ThinkLessStress. So it's ThinkLessStress, and it's really an app that helps you to create habits using evidence-based techniques to increase your mental fitness. And that's really the framework that the activities and the articles and the habit trackers and reflection worksheets are all about. They help you step by step to understand. So I'm educating you on what the changes are that you can make using these techniques. So this app has 11 topics altogether, including stress management, overcoming fear of failure, and gaining more focus and clarity to enable you to move out of that feeling of feeling unstuck, and then moving into more of space where you can manage these difficult situations, having less stress and less overwhelm.
I'm really excited about this program that you've got, this app. It's an app, right?
Yes.
Because I don't know anyone that's doing this. I know people have programs, Catherine, but you've developed your own app, and that's really cool. And congratulations on the progress, because I know it's been a long time coming. So who's the app for? Like, who's the ideal people that use it, and how do they interact with it? How do they use it? Tell us a little bit more about that.
So with the app, it's really geared up for people who are struggling with that daily stress. And that's come about because of my personal experiences I've mentioned of, having that stress and that overwhelm and thinking, you have to stay stuck in that. So it's really for corporate leaders, for employees, but also individuals who are struggling day to day with stress. And then it's going to really help have that education, the understanding of how the brain responds to stress and how you can reframe your perception around difficult situations by having that tighter control of your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. So how it works is that the app is then open with the 11 topics which you work through, and each topic is 4 weeks in duration. And in each topic, it starts off with an educational element, so talking about that particular topic, and then it will start drawing in the different strategies, the different techniques and tools that then you can start creating habits with. And it will take you through the process of creating the habit with questions, actually interactive templates and places where you can put in your answers, and then that can be tracked as you work through all of the topics in the app.
I like the idea that you can track it. I think that gives managers, leaders some visibility of where their individual team members are at any particular time, especially given we've got most businesses will have a hybrid model. So not all of their team members will be located in the same, building or the same location. So I think that's a real advantage. I'm just going to change tacks for a moment and just ask you about, your experience as a coach. What has been the most memorable for you? And if you can dive a little bit deeper into that, I think that would be useful to know.
Yes, so really a memorable experience with my coaching has been just in the last couple of years with the COVID and the impact of that on organizations. And I've been coaching leaders, and this particular leader I was coaching, she was very frustrated and overwhelmed with the change and uncertainty taking place in the organization, and particularly within her team. And before she'd begun coming to me for the coaching, she really had this frustration about, why is this happening? Why is it happening to her and her team and the organization? And she didn't know really how to support her team. She put all the pressure on herself to actually take responsibility over her team, but also how they were feeling and how they were supposed to manage their own personal lives in the grand scheme of things. And she found that very exhausting and time consuming. And when she came to me, she really wanted some help with that. So with the coaching, we started looking at her resilience, so building personal resilience to really help her to build the skills to adapt and be able to advance during this really difficult time. And with those skills, she developed the ability to have more of a coaching approach to her team, so she could then open up asking questions about how her team members were feeling, what they were experiencing, how they could work better together, what strengths they had. And she actually started up strength-based little workshops where they could share with each other the strengths that they saw in each other and how they could draw those into their work and how they could support each other during that difficult time. And the outcome was that she started at the beginning feeling very frustrated, but by the end of it, she'd got a team who were really thriving, although in a very difficult situation, they could work better together and she could better support them for it.
A great story, a great outcome for her as well. And it just demonstrates with a little bit of support, a little bit of tools and techniques, different approaches, you end up with happy employees, and you want people working with you in a team that are happy because they'll stay working with you. And I think that's one of the best things that you've just demonstrated through that story. In terms of your ideal client, Catherine, and people interested in engaging with you and in this wellbeing app, it's particularly leaders that may be managing remote teams. This is a wonderful way to stay connected, stay engaged, but also to track progress. It's one of the best things I like about it. Tell me about the people that you love working with and who you'd like to work more with.
Okay, so in terms of people I'd like to work with, it would be really those people who are very similar to me with that struggle that they're experiencing with the stress, with that real commitment to want to change, and perhaps not knowing how to go about that. But that's okay, because that's where I can come and work as a team with that person and really drive change through this education about how our brains work, how our brains respond to stress, and then identifying what works for them in terms of incorporating the evidence-based techniques, which actually they can build into habits, which then will enable them to achieve that sustainable and intentional change in their well-being.
There's a real theme coming through all of your answers, and it really is about think less stress. I like the name for your app, because it clearly demonstrates what it's all about, and it's about that neuroscience, the thinking part of getting you through some emotional challenges. And I love the work that you do, and I love that you're doing it at a high level as well, because some of those changes do have to start from the top. My last question for you: you've recently joined the coaching directory in 2021. What does it mean for you and your business in joining the directory?
Well, it's great to be part of such an awesome community of professional coaches, and to have a business that really supports professional coaches. I've never known anywhere else that had this same setup, and I feel very proud to partner with such a great directory. And it's not just a directory, it's much more than that. And it's really a community of coaches helping coaches, and also being able to have promotion like this of the amazing coaches that are part of the directory. So I think it's an awesome experience, and I feel very blessed to be part of this great directory.
Thank you for your lovely words, and we love having you part of the directory, because we've got no one really owning that space, and it's a pleasure to have you. And thank you for taking time out for me to interview you on Meet the Coach.
Thank you so much, Carla. It's been great.
Yeah, you're welcome. And as always, thank you for those that are watching and listening to our Meet the Coach series and our episodes. If you enjoy our show, please like and review us, and we look forward to seeing you on our next episode. I'm Carla Egan from the Coaching Directory, where we connect you to your ideal coach.